Hey everyone, it's Blue and we are back with another video. In this video we'll be talking about the pure single target build in Mythic Plus Dungeons. Now before I go over the video and the build, I just wanted to say that there is a huge oversight in the last video of the pure AoE build. That build is the build that I'm least familiar with, and I wanted to thank everyone that has brought that to my attention, and that you should be running Moment of Clarity instead of Blood Talons. So much love to those that had caught that and made me aware of that. And if you haven't yet saw that video or tried that build out, I definitely go check it out. And always, I do appreciate the support. But enough said, let's go ahead and jump into the video. So, what is the Incarnation build, and why would we ever run it during our Dungeon Keys? The Incarnation build is the most single target damage that we can do as Feral. It revolves around the use of a powerful cooldown, Incarnation. During this cooldown, our Shred abilities have double the crit chance and become our main source of damage, even outperforming Ferocious Bite. This specific build is very good for bursting down priority kill targets during trash pulls, or for just burning down the boss as quickly as possible. This build not only is good for burst, but also will in general be our highest single target damage that we can do on boss pulls, no matter the time it takes to kill them, as long as we can get over the 100% shred crit requirement during Incarnation windows. For this specific dungeon, I chose to run the Incarnation build not only because the bosses have much more health and are quite brutal with the tyrannical buff, but also because of the many priority kill targets hidden within many of the pulls. For this build to work, I am running Sabertooth, Wild Charge, Balance Affinity, Typhoon, Incarnation, Primal Wrath, and Moment of Clarity. I also chose for this dungeon to run Vision of Perfection. Now, I would say in general, this would not be the most favorable talent choice, but for this specific dungeon, this specific week, it worked well. I ran Vision of Perfection to reduce the cooldown of Incarnation, making it possible to use it twice in a boss fight, but also the cooldown reduction for the random procs are nice, especially for this week when there are a lot of Void Emissaries in unfavorable locations. I would also suggest Condensed Life Force for the greatest single target damage. I myself love this talent, but I do have trouble using the cooldown during trash pulls. Ended up holding it until the cooldown longer than I should, using it only for boss fights, which is a big mistake. I also believe that Blood of the Enemy can work its way into the rotation of a single target, as well as it's great for ads. In this dungeon, I ran 3 traits of Wild Fleshrending, 2 traits of Jungle Fury, and 1 trait of Blood Mist. The last trait is really your choice. I think Gushing Lacerations wouldn't be too bad, and can possibly work that in. The real big key though is this build is making sure that you are able to get 50% crit with your Tiger Fury buff. I'm able to do so with crit, food buff, and only 2 traits of Jungle Fury. If you're struggling with this, you may consider 3 traits of Jungle Fury if you can get your hands on them. With this build, you do want to prioritize crit, as it is very difficult to reach the desired 50% threshold without the extra crit sockets and enchants. Second desired stat would be Versatility. Now, I've recently got a few questions about how Versatility and Mastery interact with each build. I think it's very important to remember that with most gear, you are probably going to obtain a lot of Mastery naturally, without even wanting to. If that is the case, which I'm betting it is for everyone, then if you have the option to obtain Versatility instead of even more Mastery, go with that. With the Incarnation build, most of our damage is going to be coming from Shred and Swipes. Neither of these abilities will be affected at all by Mastery, so if we can grab even a small amount of Versatility, it will go a long way. This third stat would be Mastery, due to a big portion of our damage is still coming from Rip. This will keep our AoE decent, as well it will help keep our bites relevant during single target fights. Fourth is Haste, but again don't worry about this stat as it most likely would come naturally, and a little bit of haste isn't something to fret about and is actually pretty decent and useful. As for the rotation, both AoE and single target are a breeze. First thing I would suggest is to make it a conscious effort to not press regrowth. A lot of us are going to be using that, or we're going to be used to using that and pressing it by habit. Regrowth will do absolutely nothing for us, and it'll just be wasting global, so be careful for that. For starting off in an AoE fight, we should stealth, open up with Rake on a priority target or one that is will be benefited most by being stunned, thrash, and fill combo points with swipe. As a spender, you should use Primal Wrath and only bite when most of the targets are dead and only a few are left alive. For single target, you should stealth and open with Rake, then immediately Rip. After Rip, I thrash and then I pop all my cooldowns. I use Incarnation, Jungle's Fury. Now I know a lot of you are used to popping the cooldowns during stealth, but for this build, Incarnation and Jungle Fury are so valuable to be used only, that we should be using them only during shreds. So that's why I choose to hold those cooldowns for when I'm ready to start using shreds, so I can get the most use out of them. And then of course, as a spender, we use Shred, and then we use our finishing move as Bite. As always, I really appreciate all of your support. Thanks so much for watching, and make sure you leave a comment and a like. If you're interested in seeing more Feral videos like these in the future, make sure you subscribe. I'll see you all in the next video. Take it easy. Peace.